Hi everybody. All right, so now I got these Jiffy seed starting pots. And the great thing about them is that you can put this right into the dirt. So we can start the plants in our peat pellet and then transfer to these peat pots. And then when they're ready to go outside, just dig a hole and put the whole thing right in. If you notice in here, I already have our coffee filter, a layer of perlite, and these are our cherry tomatoes. Yay, they've already come up. So I've got our bowl of moistened seed starting, organic seed starting mix. And I'm going to add this in. You want to put a little bit of a base, and then we're going to add in our peat pellet. And then we're going to fill in the dirt around it. And you don't want to compact it because the roots have got to grow and come out. So we're just going to loosely put it around. So here are our peat pots. And this is our cherry tomatoes. Cherry tomato, that hopefully will be something coming up soon. I think that's a sugar snap pea. Here we have the sugar snap pea. Sugar snap peas. Keep them together. And that one, look how big that one's gotten already. This is the 28th of February. That means 11 days, and look at all this growth. These are all of our corn. And here we have our sunflower and the rest of our tomatoes. So here we have our map for our greenhouse kit. And our sugar snap peas, only 2 have not bloomed yet. And so those are all over there. The 4 that are coming out are great. We had our sunflower, and 1 has come up. So the others haven't germinated yet. Then we'll have those 2 spaces for the rosemary and lavender, which we're not going to do until March 6th. Then we have our row of spinach. Let me take the lid off so you can see. Nothing's happening with the spinach, though. Absolutely nothing. So, I'm a little worried. It does say 7 to 14 days to germinate on the package. I checked that. Our corn did phenomenally. All of the corn germinated. We've got that all over here. Okay, and then our cherry tomatoes. 4 of those germinated. So we've got those planted. Okay, and I've got 2 left. Now, so the next 2 rows, we're going to do Swiss chard and collard greens. These are Georgia collard greens, and that is Swiss chard. I'm going to put the Swiss chard and the collard greens in planters. And I have 2 very big planters, and that's what I'm going to put in those. It'll be easy for me then to harvest because you harvest the leaves off of that, and if it's in the big planter, it's up off the ground, I won't have to bend over so much. All right, so that'll be easy to tend, and also it'll keep a lot, because it'll be in a planter raised off the ground, it'll help keep away any sort of maybe slugs, aphids, worms, bugs. It'll help keep them at bay, and hopefully I'll get a nice yield. On the back of this Swiss chard, it actually does say right there, container friendly. So that is good to know. Now, some people in the South, this is like a fall harvest. So I'm hoping that it'll be okay. It does say back here, April, May for New York. So we're going to start them indoors, start seeds indoors 6 weeks before last killing frost in spring. All right, so I'm going to get these in now. So that way, hopefully I can get some now. And the reason why I don't do collards is because we were just making collard greens, remember, in the kitchen, and they were so delicious. I certainly would love to have some collard greens available all summer long to use. And Swiss chard, I just personally love. Those are absolutely gorgeous. Now this is the rainbow blend, so I'll get some nice colors. I love the red Swiss chard. So, but they didn't have only red. They just had the rainbow blend. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get something going this year. Something that yields a lot more than just 1 eggplant per eggplant plant. And tons of zucchini blossoms on our summer squash and only 1 summer squash for all 6 of our plants. So Fingers crossed 2021 will be a better year. All right, so our Swiss chard is already in here, and our collard greens have gone in there, and I want to cover up, there's a little seed right there, that little tiny dot. That's the seed, and we want to just cover this up a little bit. You're not sinking them down too deep. There's more than one seed per hole because the seeds are so tiny. I want to make sure they germinate. And when you're thinning out your collard greens later on, the baby, you know, like baby spinach, baby collard greens are nice and tender. And so that will be delicious. We'll be able to thin them out and eat them instead of just cutting and throwing them out. So that's, we'll get all of those covered. And we'll say a prayer, keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully we will get some collard greens and Swiss chard coming up. Our spinach, we gotta do something about that. Sunflower seeds, sugar snap peas. All right, so we've got to hold our breath. 2 more cherry tomatoes right there. And get these covered, and hopefully we'll get some action going on. All right, so the good thing about starting stuff indoors is that you know it's germinated. Some seeds don't germinate and sprout, and that can be very frustrating, which is also why some people will go to the nursery and buy plants. But that is very expensive, as I learned last year. I spent a lot of money buying already growing corn, eggplant, tomatoes, and it was the squash, the butternut squash, spaghetti squash, and so, you know, that was expensive. Now I'm starting everything from seeds. Now the seeds are, you know, $1.50 a packet. Some of them were $2. They were organic ones. These peat things are $12 for $1.85. This whole thing was like $7 with 72 peat pellets. You know, I'm using recycling. I'm using yogurt pots that I've drilled holes, or my husband put the holes in the bottom. I'm using these take-out containers to hold everything so I can water them, and they can water from the bottom. So you can do this rather economically, all right? You can save money and get this done, and it just takes time. Now, I still have snow outside, all right? So, may seem early, but it's never too early to get this stuff started.